Welcome crew to this week's offering, obviously brought to you by me and Monty this week. So, just the usual start point team of how you're feeling, what's kind of going on in your world and your body, what do you need from today's practice. By the looks of this, it's a relatively restorative practice, which is, possibly what we need. And just kind of softening into your body for a moment. Just take a comfortable seat on the floor and let's start with some breathing work. And if you've got animals that like to join you on the yoga mat, then welcome them onto the mat. Hey, did you need cuddle? So we're going to start just finding that seat, find your breath, kind of sit into your body. So if it's a bit top heavy at the moment, I'm going to come into the body, into the breath. And as we do that, we're just kind of noticing, what am I feeling? What's going on? And we're also sinking our awareness down into the earth, so the whenua underneath us. What's our relationship like with the land that we're on? The ancestors and the stories of that land, how do we relate to that? And just kind of bring all of that awareness with you into your practice. When you listen to the recordings at the moment, you can hear our little sparrows that are busy in the gutters next door. And there's things like the light today is different because it's very silver outside. It's threatening to rain, which would be lovely for our garden here. And so it's things like that. It's bringing yourself into presence with where you are. Now, as we bring ourselves into the breath, we notice, is my breath tight? Is it sitting up high? Do I want to kind of relax and let it drop into my belly a bit more? My shoulders and my neck, what are they doing? So give everything a little bit of a wriggle just to kind of bring that awareness there. Your dog cleaning its bits while you're recording. Hey, is that what we're doing? What have you got stuck on your mush? Compost. Compost. Mm-hmm. And then as we sit into that, as we sit into the breath, we're going to just take ourselves slowly into some side stretches, completely distracted by Monty along the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, bring our arms up and just bring our awareness into the sides of the body. So especially if you sit hunched over a computer a lot, these are just about that kind of relief from what our muscles might go through. We're going to bring our arms out wide. Touch them around just gently behind you, feel that shoulder space open up. Then inhale, come up. And exhale, reach it gently forward now that I don't have to organize. Inhale, come up. And exhale, reach those arms back. And so we're bringing the sides of the body into our awareness. And then as we come forward, the back of the body. And so just coming up slow, sides, front of the body. Coming up, exhaling forward. One more, lifting it up. Exhaling it back. Inhaling it up, and as we do that, we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to change our feet round. If you're sitting in cross-legged, change the foot that's in front for the foot that's behind. And we're going to come up, inhale up. Exhale, behind. Inhale up. And exhale, forward. Just going slow. Coming up. Coming back. Stretch those fingers back. Feel that movement in the shoulders. You notice we do a lot of this movement in these sessions where we're moving our arms up and around. It's such a place where we hold that tension. And so we really want to kind of focus in on it during our classes. We're going to bring our hands down. It's also cool where we start to feel some of those as we get older, stages of needing to keep major joints moving. Okay, so as we take our hands down, so you know that kind of process that's going on in our bodies is constant, and we're constantly needing to kind of keep that movement, use it or lose it. So especially shoulders. Okay, those of you that know people, or maybe you've had that frozen shoulder, we want to keep that movement. Just like we want to keep this movement in the hips. I know I'm a broken record, but you know. We're going to get the circle. Okay, so we're going to come around into that lower back. It's nice and slow. And just a couple of circles, because then we're going to change our leg shape. Come round the other way. And then bring the feet into a wider Baddha Konasana. So more like a diamond shape with our legs. Same idea, just rolling some gentle circles around. We don't have to go too far. We're just getting some movement. Being a little bit gentle on the body. And then we're going around the other way. And we're just being quite gentle with how that movement is. If you see me giggling, it's because Monty's taken himself over. He's got a bed by the door. And he's, you know how they scratch and scruffle? He's done that, and he's got it so that he can just see me through the kitchen. He's got his little eye open, like, I'm watching you. To bring it back to centre, and those of you that have done classes with Monty will know that sometimes he would tell me that I needed to sit for a class or I needed to rest for a class. And his way of doing that was to do what you saw him do at the start, which was sit at the front of the mat and kind of not let me move. And so he's got his eye on me to make sure he just... So we're going to roll the shoulders down. And as we come full crow, we're looking for that lower back movement. And so we're not wanting to hunch. We're wanting to bring the chest forward and feel right along the spine. If we're quite tight in the hips, we might be sitting quite up. So don't worry, just let yourself be where your body is. I'm going to drop our left shoulder and bring that head slowly over towards the left knee. Right shoulder comes down too. Breathing into that space. Inhale, come up slow. Exhale, take it the other way. And bring it back to center. Let's bring these feet into Baddha Konasana, so right in nice and close. Just holding on to the feet. Give everything a wee wriggle. We used to do something called butterfly, I think we would have called it at school. We're going to go really gently. We're not trying to force those knees to the floor. More like a bit of a massage for our hips. Noticing your breath, just being conscious, being aware. And then leaning forward, if there's some room, just bringing that awareness into our hip space. Being gentle. Work with the breath. Here for a little bit longer, so kind of moving into a bit more of a restorative length. And so get those shoulders to drop down, bring the chin kind of down so the back of the neck's nice and long. At the same time, just feel like we're opening up the space under the diaphragm, not crunching into it. And just breathe. once we've been there for a while, we might start to notice that we're able to move forward a little further, or the opposite, that we need to come up a little bit and just kind of take some of that pressure off. So have a play with where you are. For too long we thought of yoga as quite static, especially if we came from an Iyengar background, and it's the subtle movements within a stretch that can make all the difference, but it also keeps our mind focused because we're aware what's going on. You know, at this point, if you're kind of finding that you're losing your focus, take your thumbs and just give the ball of your foot a little bit of a pressure massage, and just, you know, work with that feeling, that what's going on. Monty, oi, right back. Tell your dog to stop doing something he shouldn't be doing while you. Yes, you. Okay. You lie under the table. Then we're going to lift ourselves up from there and take our legs out in front, give them a little shake. And we're going to walk this right foot in and take our left hand or our left elbow around it, and the right hand goes around behind us. We just come into that first twist, just slowly looking over that shoulder, opening the eyes nice and wide. Bring that back to center, let that right knee drop down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, come down that left leg and stretch it out. And breathe. And inhale, bring it back up. Reach those arms up. Let's get that continual focus on opening up space in the body. Changing sides, so right leg comes out in front, left knee tucks in, right hand or right elbow to that knee, and around we go into the breath. Come back to center. Let that left knee drop down. Inhale, come up through the arms. Exhale, down that right leg. What's up, Mr. Restless? And then coming up slowly, bring the arms up, that nice extension, out and around. Take both legs out in front, give everything a little shake. This time when we bring this right knee up, we're going to go across. And we can tuck this foot in, just see how it feels. If it feels a bit lopsided, take that left leg straight back out in front. The left hand coming around, or left elbow coming around, around the dog. He's decided to sleep on the back of the mat. Looking over that shoulder, nice deep breaths. bring it back to center. So we're going to take this top foot and just get into cow face pose, and we can do this with our left leg out in front as well, crew. So just kind of figure out where you are in that. Just taking hold of that knee, we can lean into it, we can stay sitting up, just decide what feels good for your body. Quite a bit of stretch going on, okay, in this right leg, this top leg. So just kind of sit with it, roll the shoulders down. Just come into the breath. As we come into that breath a little bit more, we're just aware of that sinking into the pose. Hopefully some nice releasing in that right hip. Unravel, just kind of give everything that gentle shake, and then it's our left foot coming over that right. We can leave that right leg out in front, or we can tuck that foot around, and then it's right hand or right elbow to that left knee, around over the dog, looking over that shoulder and finding your breath. Bring it slowly around and taking this left leg, stacking those knees, or if that right leg's out in front, just leave it in front, just tuck this leg under. Again, we can lean forward or we can stay sitting up. It's all about what we can feel in that top leg, a little bit in that bottom leg too. Then find your breath, just sit into the breath. Noticing as we're there a little bit longer, those releases happening, just gently focusing into the breath. Unraveling, take both those legs out in front. Starting this part of the sequence in Dandasana, so just with our hands, kind of fingertips, whatever our arm length is, rolling shoulders down, and then that lift through the chest, lift of the toes as well, so nice and active. Find your breathing. Busy Sparrows team out my window, and you guys are seeing this a few weeks after it was recorded, but this morning we were watching the gannets, because the gannets have come back here in Ahuriri, and so we could see them coming through the port. It was really gorgeous to see, because they go away for our winter and they come back in spring to nest up at the Cape. And so yeah, it was pretty special this morning to see that. So seasonal things, crew? So we're lifting up and we're reaching just gently forward, and the shoulders are dropping down, and we're just kind of noticing, so again we've got that length to the spine, softening our knees, just feeling that enough point for that forward fold. about the season that you're in as you're practicing this, depending on what part of the world you are. And of course, this is archived, so you can pick it up at any time of the year. That season makes a difference to how our body feels, right? So particularly today, because we're doing a lot of floor work, it's just that real feeling of, what's my body feel like, and how am I feeling? So we're going to stay with this idea of moving around on the hips, and we'll come back to it in a moment. We're going to just come off our butt because we've been sitting on it for 20 minutes. Come around, all fours, around the dog, my little companion there. And we're going to cat-cow pose. I'm just going to move my legs a little bit. So we're going to inhale along the spine and then exhale the other way. So just kind of moving, warming up that spine. It's kind of being lengthened out. We're going to work with those curves instead. And then depending on where your dog is on your yoga mat, we're going to do a frog pose. So knees out to the edge of the mat, snuggle my toes under Monty. And we're going to just wander forward and create some traction along that spine crease. So reach it out, kind of find that nice stretch out through the arms. And we can stay just holding that tension there, or we can stack our forearms or our fists and take rest. So figure what your body feels like doing. We're going to wander our hands back up and out of your cobra alternative team. So roll the shoulders down, bring that chest forward, snaking upwards and looking up. Shoulders drop down, so where we should feel it is right under our shoulder blades. Big, long, deep breath. Then leaving that length in the spine, just bring the chin down, scruff of the neck up towards the roof. And then wandering the hands kind of in even more. See if we can sit back on our feet in this. Now, this might be a no. You might need to bring your knees back around you. You might need to bring something under your thighs. Just kind of find what's going to work for your body. Stretching into the top of the feet and the top of the ankles. Okay, so just kind of keeping that flexibility right around the feet if we can. While we're here, take the arms out nice and wide. We're going to bring the left underneath the right. Give ourselves a hug. And then see if we can bring those left fingers to that right palm. Elbows going forward, chin tucks down. Unravel, reach it out, and then right underneath, left on top, hug first, and then right fingers, left palm if we can, and elbows come forward, arms lift, chin comes down towards the base of our throat. Really work the breath, so we're getting the breath right under those shoulder blades. And then release, let those arms come down. Always feels good. Let that tension out. And what we're going to do from there, come forward, we're going to sit ourselves back down. And our right knee and right foot are in front. Our left foot is around to here. If you will find, nowhere present. Some of you will find that you're a little bit side saddle in this, and eventually we get both those butt cheeks on the floor, we hope. And talk a little bit about, the foot, knee, hip connection going on. And this is one of those classic ones where we want our knees to be quite light, because that means that our hips are feeling able to do this. And then it's going to be a lot easier on our ankles as well. We're going to circle just really gently around if you can, okay? If it's enough just to sit in the shape, do that. There's a lot going on, including the sun trying to come out here. Can't decide what it's doing at the moment too. And we've really got that circling going, nice and long, nice and slow. And then we're going to change direction, go around the other way. Notice that you might be starting to get lower, you might get more used to the movement if you're circling. Again, sometimes this feels gentle, and I think some of you might laugh at that because it might not feel gentle, but if a pose feels gentle or a movement that we're doing feels gentle, it's not a bad thing. I think we think everything has to be work in yoga. We're not allowed to be comfortable, we're not allowed to find a shape to rest in. Those of you that do yin, you'll know that there's an edge to play with in yin, but there's also the softness that we need to get used to, that kind of sometimes is a little bit of a headspace shift in terms of our practice. So I'm going to come back to the centre. I'm going to turn towards this left side. Okay, so this is putting quite a strong twist in. And we can be up quite high to start with, okay, so we're just kind of getting ourselves around. Then we kind of find where's the stretch for you. And it might be up high, you might need to move the body down, we might need to move belly and boobs to make sure we've got room. And just kind of find that enough point, and then we're going to breathe and just let that stretch come into the body. Quite strong for that right side of the body usually, around onto our belly, maybe into our hips. Make sure that this left knee's okay. We're walking back around slowly. And we're going to change the legs around. Okay, so just come around slow. Start with just sitting, because what we sometimes find is one side is quite different with this one than the other. So we're just kind of looking after our hips in this. And again, we're going to circle. So this is where we start to go into the more kind of mind aspect of our practice, because something repetitive can very easily mean that our mind wants to travel somewhere else. And so we just want to go slow. We want to actually go slower if that's the case, to kind of bring that head slowly back into our practice, into the breath. can feel different. Got my hands very gently on my knees too, I'm not pushing. Just in case you're like, what are you doing with your hands? And we're going to change directions, so we're going to go around the other way. Notice your breath. And as we come back to center, we're going to find that enough vision of turning to that right leg and just finding the twist and the breath where we are in the pose. And then we're coming up. We're unraveling these legs and taking them just a little bit wider than we've had them before, team. So comfortably wide. Give the knees a little shake. Make sure that those knees feel all right. It's the inside of our knees that get quite a decent kind of stretch in that one. Especially if there's a bit of tension in those hips, it can feel quite, oh, I've had a bit of movement. And so we're going to come forward just slowly into whatever feels right in terms of a forward fold. Make enough room with your legs for your belly and comfort. Rolling shoulders down. Nice deep, deep breath. Find that enough point, so slightly more restorative again with this one, so we're here for a little bit longer. So ease out rather than in, and let yourself just find the enough point. We're easing up, just slow. We're going to take our legs out just that bit wider. If there's room, if there's not, keep them where they just were. So again, we're just kind of making sure we feel stable and steady in our space. Two different positions that we can use for this right hand. Okay, so we can go down this right leg, or we can bring that right hand under our left thigh. And what you're going to notice if you have a play is here opens the space in a particular way. There opens it slightly differently. And so find which one feels like, oh, that feels nice for my body today. So then our left arm comes up and it reaches over in line with our ear and out. And we're just going to breathe into that space. We're going to inhale up and exhale the other way. We're inhaling up, we're exhaling down through that center. Again, just finding that enough for your body. Point, breathing into a long spine. Come up slow, walking it out, walking it in. What we're going to do from here, crew, is if you are a down dog fan, this sequence is a down dog sequence. If you're not feeling it today, and we are in that more restorative mindset, right? So we don't have to do the stronger stuff. Then what you can do, we're going to start with the sequence on our knees and then just go up into down dog. And so you can stay with the sequence on your knees, which can be quite nice. And again, it's that honouring of where your body's at, what it feels like, where your dog is on your yoga mat. Reminding me to be gentle, you know, he's good like that. So we're going to start on our knees. Dog willing. And knees kind of under hips, toes tucked under, crew, just so you've got that option. We're going to wander the arms forward and stretch our heart towards the floor. Bum stays up in the air. Nice big stretch under the arms, so walk them forward, keep the forearms just off the floor. Those that wish, walking the hands in and the feet back. Come up into plank and then down dog, just slow. Otherwise, what you can do is pull back into a frog pose or a pose of the child, those that were in our other pose. Long, slow, deep breath here. Then we're coming forward, we're bringing the knees down if we've been in down dog. We're sitting back on our feet, this time with our knees kind of closer together. So when we did it with our knees out, now we're sitting on our feet this way. We're just kind of letting our shoulders come down, letting our face relax. It's Saturday here when I'm filming this, and my neighbours have just got the drill out. So if the skill saw comes out and you can hear that in the background, just think it's all sorts of things going on. And that can happen to us in our practice, right? We can have the neighbour decide to mow their lawn or weed whack or get that blower out and do stuff. And it's just part of the practice. It needs to just be part of how we do things. And, you know, we are not in practicing outside a cave in the Himalayas. We are in a more modern context, and that can be different. It can be a different headspace, a different practice. So go with it. I think on one of the recordings, my other neighbour's got his V8 out and is revving it up. So you know, we've got 3 Harleys around us, so anything can happen. And what we're going to do then is we're going to sit up, we're going to take our toes under and sit back onto our feet. It's that one. It's breathing into that kind of, it's quite nervy feeling, because of course we are working in a part of the body that's got a lot of those, and a lot of, well, the feet have got a lot going on. So just breathe into that. I should probably come up to standing at least once on class A, before we head to the floor. Thank you, Monty, for popping us into a nice restorative session today. Well, closer to restorative. We're going to bring our hands down. We're going to walk those feet out to the edge of the mat and find our way into our forward fold, standing forward fold cruise. So going to lift yourself up. Try not to stand on your dog. Let yourself come around those hips. If it feels alright, cross the arms, let the head drop. Fingertips come down, toes go off the edge of the mat. We're going to come into a squat. So just come down slow into your version, supporting those knees with your elbows. And then dropping our way back to the floor. Say we come up to standing, not quite. Bring the feet back into Baddha Konasana and check how it feels now that we've been practicing for a while. Making the sun come out here. So, shoulders drop down, lifting on up. And if there's some room, coming forward. It's like in true restorative style. Then do a bit of a longer sequence lying down, and this sequence will be a little bit familiar to those that have done both mine and Dan's classes back in the day, where we used to start a lot of our classes with this. And just for those that might not know the kind of history, once upon a time, if I'd started out lying down, there would have been this look like, what are you doing? Then we started doing lying down starts, and if we started standing up, people felt cheated. So it's amazing how our practice can change over time. Lying down can still be quite strong, and there's a couple of stronger moves in this sequence. We've got lots of options about what you do with them. So just kind of listen into what your body feels like. The stronger options require that we lift our head up off the floor, and we haven't got our hands around behind it at the time. Our arms are reached up. So it's really neck strengthening. So at the start, when you first start doing these, if they're not part of your practice, we really want to be quite conscious that we might not have a lot of strength in our neck. And so you might kind of tuck your chin and just come off the floor for a couple of breaths and then come back down and rest until you've got that strength. This is 4 or 5 kilos of weight that we're putting into these muscles in a very different way to what they're used to when we are just sitting. Okay, so lots of listening to that team. I had someone ask me about it the other day, and it's quite different. So like when you start, those of you that have done some Reformer Pilates, same kind of idea. We're first kind of working out these muscles that we don't use in that way. So just work with that. We're gonna lie down. Monty will love that. We're gonna lie down. I'm obviously not gonna stretch my legs too far. And what we're gonna do first is just kind of soles of the feet together, knees drop out. So we're gonna start gently. We're gonna start in Baddha Konasana. And we're going to reach our arms up and over our head. And
And this nice kind of slow deep breath that really just kind of reaches into that base of the belly. Then we're going to bring our right knee in, take hold of it, draw it in towards the belly. Now that left knee can start to the side, or we can lengthen that left leg down off the floor. Left hand's going to slide down that right shin and bring the foot, so that right foot, across towards that left hip. So think the shape of pigeon pose team for that leg. But then we're going to circle into that hip. So we've done a lot into these hips over the course of class, so we're looking after them a little bit. Change that direction, go around the other way. And then we're going to take that leg, so letting go of the foot, we're going to stretch that leg up towards the roof. And start with just the stretch version team, so drawing that leg towards us, pushing the heel away. Straight up towards the roof might be plenty, by the way. Then we've got that addition, if we wish, of climbing the legs. So we tuck our chin in and we start to roll up off the floor, wandering the hands up that right leg, looking after that neck team. So we roll the shoulders away from it, sink into the breath. Then down we go, and mirror whatever you're doing with that left leg, with that right leg. Arms go over the head. Give it a stretch. And then bring that left knee in. Start by just giving it a hug in towards the belly and towards the chest. Then our right hand slides down the shin and we bring that left foot over towards that right hip. And we're going to roll some circles into that left hip. Slow. Change direction, take it around the other way. Bring it back to center and take that leg up towards the roof. Starting just with that simple stretch team, so just working the heel away, drawing that leg towards you a little bit. Chin tucks in, we start to walk up that leg if we wish. Looking after the neck if you're doing that one. Easing it down, mirroring what you're doing with your right leg, with that left leg. Arms reach up and over the head. Then we're going to bring our arms into goddess pose shape team. So elbows out from the shoulders, so that lovely 90-degree angle, palms facing up. Bring the knees back together, lift the hips up and over to the left side of your mat, pipe them down, and bring those knees over towards the right, looking along that left arm. Find your breath. Inhale, bring it back to center. Bring the hips back to center. And then take them over towards the right. And knees go left. Looking along that right arm. And then bring it back to center. Bring the hips back to center. And just snuggle those feet into the mat for a moment. Arms are going to go down alongside the body. Feet are going to tuck in. And we're just going to lift the hips just off the mat. Just a little way. Just get that sense of loosening up through the hips. And then up, just a little bit up through the hips. Just feeling that lift as we come up. Long, deep breath. Noticing, so really feeling into the back and the shoulders, chin tucked in, back of the neck nice and long. And then vertebrae by vertebrae down we go. Slow. Noticing how that back's feeling. Doing a second one, so pushing down into the feet, down into the arms. Coming up slowly through the hips. Really feeling that lift along the spine, chin tucking in. Top of the thighs get a little bit of movement as well. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, down we go. We're going to bring our arms back into that goddess shape. We're going to cross our left leg over our right. Okay? And then take those knees over to the right. Just slow. Looking along that left arm. Nice deep, deep breath. Come back to center slowly. Cross the right leg over the left and take those knees left, looking along that right arm. Nice deep breaths, team, as we do this. to center. Bring the feet down, bring the hands onto the belly, or maybe stretch the legs down along the floor. Find that Shavasana-ish space. If you need to put socks on, do that. What we want to feel is what we've done to our body. So we're really kind of at that point where we're letting the yoga soak in. We can feel everything that's gone on. We can soften. Might be a bit of an awareness there that we've done a bit of work, but it's been different. No lunges, no warriors, but still plenty that's gone on in your body, and it's so important to just realize the different nuances that yoga can bring to our body. And so really soften, really let yourself sink into the floor, into your breath. Bring that energy down towards the earth. And if the mind is super busy, just bring it to that breath, bring it to that gentle focus. Inhale, exhale. A crew that are a meditation crew that might be going on to meditate. Just kind of bringing your awareness to that intentionality of that. Those of you that need to come up and kind of get back into whatever the day has for you, that intentionality starts to come in now as we come into the breath. We're going to wander our feet up the mat if they're not already there. Reach your arms up and over your head. Just feel that space in the shoulders and the breath. We're going to turn onto our left side. Just come slowly up and around to seated. Open cross-legged, just noticing, being present to that. Soften into the shoulders, into the hips. I'm going to sit with the breath for a moment. Okay, so this means that we're all joining in that kind of an intention of just spaciousness in the mind. And this means that those going on to meditate, there's been a little bit of a request that we're just kind of coming into that space for however brief or long you want to make that. For those going on, it's like we're gathering that energy for the day ahead or the evening ahead, whenever you're practicing. So soften your gaze, close your eyes. And as you breathe in, just gather that around you. That beautiful energy that you've created in your body, in your mind. We're really breathing it in. We're filling ourselves up with it. And when we breathe it out, we breathe it out into the space around us. Do a few breaths like that. And then those that are moving into that meditative space, just turn off the sound. Those of you returning into the world, blink your eyes open if you've had them closed, and let's bring our arms up
into that space. Gather that energy and bring it to the heart. And really that's what we're doing as we come into the end of our practice, is we're just gathering ourselves. Feeling that sense of what we've done. Just breathe into that. And then many blessings everyone. Thank you all for staying on this far into the practice. Have a beautiful day. Take that with you into whatever is next.